The Raptors set up their D. The crowd on its feet here at the Air Canada Center. Lin puts it up. Bang! Jeremy Lin from downtown, and the Knicks take the lead.
8, 5, 4. Lin for the win. Got it. Of his 27 in the fourth.
Hi everybody, I'm Harry Hoffman. This is the Double H Show. Jeremy Lin, a huge three-pointer to win the game last night in Toronto. How will he mesh with Melo and Amar'e when all three of them are on the court at the same time? I'll tell you coming up on this edition of the Double H Show. Jeremy Lin does it again, leads the New York Knicks to their 6th straight victory last night in Toronto, and of course it was National Asian American Day in Toronto. Tons of fans coming out to see him, and they just erupt on the Toronto home floor when Jeremy Lin hits that shot. It was a struggle for him throughout the game. It was Amar'e's first game back playing with Jeremy Lin, and you could see some struggles. But Amar'e Stoudemire is such one of the best big man pick and roll players in the game, and Jeremy Lin knows how to get him touches and give him the ball in the right spots. So I don't think they will have an issue meshing in the coming games. But I think the big question is, and I think we're all looking forward to see, is how Melo fits in with this system. Before Jeremy Lin became the starter and was really involved in the Knicks offense, Mike D'Antoni tried to run the offense through Melo and have him bring up the ball and basically have him be the point guard. And he drew lots of double team, but the Knicks had trouble scoring it, and they were obviously losing many games. And before Jeremy Lin, this was heading in the wrong direction. The Knicks were not even in the top 8 in the Eastern Conference. They were well on their way to, maybe even missing the playoffs, and Mike D'Antoni was definitely on the hot seat in New York. And then Jeremy Lin, with a spectacular story, claimed off waivers from the Houston Rockets. He's only making $800,000 this season, and of course he comes in averaging over 20 points and just racking up the assists in every category. He is the leading scorer for anyone in their first 5 starts in NBA history, but he's also the leading turnover man in someone's first 5 starts in NBA history. So while the points are good, he does come with some turnovers. He has been controlling the ball nicely so far last night, and definitely in the second half in Minnesota. You could see sometimes where he tried to force it instead of kicking it out. He was looking to score first instead of pass first, which is what a true point guard is really about. I think he'll fix that. And of course, when he gets Amar'e and Melo on the court at the same time, he'll have so many scores to look to. Iman Shumpert had some key plays in last night's game with the steal at the end of the game and the bucket. And Landry Fields also played hard. So I think when he has all those guys on the floor at the same time, he'll have no trouble finding open shooters and people who can score. Obviously, I think we all can agree that his points per game is going to drop, probably below 20, but I think his assists are going to stay right where they are. They might even increase. I mean, he's just finding wide open guys, and he's playing the pick and roll nicely with Tyson and at some points with Amar'e last night. I think that will keep up. And of course, when Melo comes back, I think it's going to take some adjusting. Melo's not used to it, but even he himself said he can't wait to go out and play with Jeremy, and that there should not be a problem with them blending at all. And if this keeps up, the Knicks could be that contender in the East that we were all expecting before the season. Obviously the Heat and the Bulls are the top 2 in the East, and then after that, the Knicks keep climbing, and I think with the spectacular play of Jeremy Lin and Melo coming back and Amari, they're already on a 6-game win streak. You know, if they could keep winning games and avoid long losing streaks, you know, who knows? They could ultimately become that 3 to 4 to 5 seed range, and I definitely think they can make a run in the playoffs if all holds up. People are comparing Jeremy Lin in his first couple of starts to Tim Tebow's this past season, and there are a lot of comparisons. Both great athletes to like, and both want to win extremely bad. In terms of who was more popular entering their league, obviously no one knew much about Jeremy Lin until this season. He played in the D-League. He was cut by 2 teams. You know, Tim Tebow, everybody had his jersey before he even had his first start. You know, they took him in the first round, and people were anxious to see him play and see what he can do. So I think from that perspective, it's a little different, but definitely the same concept. Both coming in and helping their teams win and trying to make that playoff run. And I think Jeremy Lin has a chance to take this team deep, and he is a true point guard. And who knows, he might have saved Mike D'Antoni's job, and he might be able to lead this Knicks team for years to come. So I think very exciting time in New York. More about the Jim Irsay and Peyton Manning story. Peyton Manning had a surgery between the May and September operation. Whether that's concerning to most, I'm not really sure. And Irsay even said he's willing to take Peyton back if they're willing to lower his salary. But you know, this is starting to get a little ridiculous in my opinion. Jim Irsay just has to stop talking until he's ready to make a decision. These tweets and what he's coming out to say are just, you know, it's building up something that doesn't need to be brought up. Andrew Luck is sitting at home waiting to be picked by the Indianapolis Colts, and a couple weeks ago before the Super Bowl, it looked like Jim Irsay had his mind made up, ready to release Peyton Manning. Now, whether he will do that or not before the March 8th deadline is still up in the air, but my opinion, as I've said all along, is you should release Peyton Manning, save all that money, draft Andrew Luck, and just surround that young kid with tons of talent to build a team for the future. It's been a great run for Peyton and the Colts, but it looks like it's time to move on. I don't know what, in 3 years, with a healthy Peyton Manning, I don't know how much he can do with the talent they have now. I'd say, you know, just start rebuilding now. You don't want to have a talent like Andrew Luck sit on the bench for that long when he can definitely get a lot of learning experience from playing in his first couple of years. And you look around the league and it looks like it's paid off for many other quarterbacks. Matthew Stafford, Matt Ryan, and of course Cam Newton. Guys coming in right away and getting the job done. And I think that's what Andrew Luck can do if the Colts take that money from Peyton and surround Andrew with talent. Where Peyton should or will go right now is down to a couple of teams. You look at the Redskins and the Jets and the Dolphins, but we'll talk more about where Peyton is going in the rest of the NFL offseason coming up in the next couple of months. Pitchers and catchers report. Baseball is in the air. We are just under 2 months away from the opening pitch. So I'll get you caught up on everything you know about the upcoming baseball season, also in the upcoming weeks. But for now, it's the Jeremy Lin Show and the NBA basketball season and definitely college basketball. Got a big slate of games this week and, of course, the weekend. I'll get you all caught up next week on Monday. Thanks for listening, everybody. This is Harry Hoffman, and this is the Double H Show.